Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Career Builder Challenge, no longer presented by the Clinton Foundation. Crooked Hillary, nowhere to be seen. I heard she may be locked up. I'm not sure if that's the case or not, though, but Clintons are out, Career Builder's in, and I'm here with Geoff Fienberg. What's going on, dude?
I am doing well. Shout out on the start of this one to all our friends, all the PGA tout community in Minnesota.
Yeah, big Vikings win.
Much love, much love. I was thinking about all of them as it was unfolding to the good and the bad. Well, the bad and then the good.
when you have the Andrew curse working on your side, everything is always good.
It seems like it.
So, do you watch much of the Sony? Because I didn't. I was watching football.
Yeah, I was watching football. I didn't really watch much of it at all, and even Saturday night I was out, so I didn't really get to see a ton, not going to lie. And then the coverage, I mean, it felt like high quality amateur porn. And that's sort of the genre that piques my interest.
So if people don't know, the cameramen walked out of the Sony Open. They're like striking. Their union deal isn't set in place. They want health care. Apparently the PGA, the Golf Channel is not giving it to them, so they didn't have cameramen.
Get flown out to Hawaii and then call the strike.
Smart timing.
There's got to be something in play here. But yeah, it felt like, everyone was making their jokes, but it felt like high quality amateur porn. And that's like my genre of choice. And so I can gauge it, and good. That was very high-end amateur porno.
The blimp shot?
Yeah, it was just well done.
I was flicking into it between hey, there's a timeout. There's going to be 20 minutes in the football game. I'll switch it over to Sony. And then it wasn't coming on till 7 o'clock at night. It was come on, just show it.
Yeah, but even when it was on, it was weird, and there were so many commercials. Every time I wanted to switch during the football game, I switched and it was in commercial, and I'd just check it on my phone here and there. Kind of a couple got, a lot of picks, at least for me, I thought did well, just fizzled out. And I feel like everybody...
around the community, their pick fizzled out at some point?
Yeah, no, everyone can make a case for somebody. I didn't have him, but just off the top of my head, Knox, started with those 3 bogeys and what he did, after that. Woodland, had these little batches of horror.
Well, it's funny because there was there was talk on Friday. It'd be oh, Woodland's gonna miss the cut.
Hopefully Woodland doesn't search his name on the internet. Because some guys do. But yeah, people were it was an abhorrent start. I'm not even sure if that's a word. For me personally, it felt like Ollie could never make one bogey. He had to make back-to-back or back-to-back-to-back bogeys. So that's something to watch for a player we're all really excited about. Harman.
I mean, I was glad Harman got out of it. For me, it was Zach.
Yeah, but
I live bet Peterson after round 1. He had gained the most strokes of anyone in the field through his irons.
He
couldn't putt.
Out on.
And I got him in at each way. I got him in at 150 to 1. I was oh, here we go. All of a sudden he vaults up and then just has a disastrous Saturday. I had the Gooch at 300 to 1. Blom I had at 350. He ended up coming T9. Somehow I didn't play a top 20 on him. I had a T5 and a win. That was it. When I take these 350 to 1 losers, surely just bet them T20 because he would have been 30 to 1. The only guy that worked out for me was Brian Stewart, who I accidentally said Chris Stroud on the show last week.
Notice that.
I made it up in my cheat sheet. So if anyone does want to know, everyone out there, because people have been asking me this over and over, our finalized bets aren't on right now. We're just getting the odds. Obviously, there's no T20s, no first-round leaders, anything like that. So my betting cheat sheet will always be up on Facebook.com/thepme. Or if you go to one of my articles, there's a hot link in there for it, and a picture will pop up. Good week, honestly.
You tweet it?
Yeah, I tweeted out.
It's also anyone gets it. I'm happy.
You say everyone gets it.
No, sorry. It took a couple events for me to remember, making these. Having to make a finality on a Monday. You wouldn't make your NFL picks on a Monday.
No,
you would change your opinion a few times. So obviously the board's out. There's guys before the board's out who I know I want to bet, and I'm excited to bet, and sometimes disappointed about the number. But quickly also, because I know I mentioned recently, last year no mid-level players were able to win and win again. And maybe you can correct me.
Xander.
That was the one, and you corrected me with that last time. So Kazire, doing it, that's full marks, because we've noticed, how quickly and how hard it's been. It seems when mid-level guys
Where
win...
was this Kazire when we were betting him at 70 to 1 every week?
Every week!
Yeah.
Rick Shithouse! And he's active on the Twitter, and he once took that as a I had to let him know brick shithouse is like an absolute, it's a compliment, it's a form of flattery. It means everything good you can take from it. I don't really want to explain it because it's kind of like an inside joke with friends and it would make no sense, but it's a very complimentary term. And he brick shithouse. Like, just look at him. He's a brick shithouse.
He's a man.
And Han, like, I don't know.
I was glad. Listen, we talk about this with Siwoo all the time, that if Siwoo's in a tournament, he's now won 2 of his first 45 career starts. Han almost won again.
Almost.
That would have given him a Riviera win and Quail Hollow win, which are corollary courses. And then this one, and he's like 300 to 1 every week. You just bet James Hahn and hope it's the James Hahn week. This week he's 55 to 1, so I'm not doing it, but...
I followed him a bit when he was in Canada last year.
Seems like a good guy.
Yeah. And I don't know, 1 or 2 people, maybe just like the junkies, someone touted Hoagie, so props to that also. Yeah.
I felt bad for him. He melted down on 16.
Yeah.
Just like, where are you going, pal? They all butchered that par 3, except for Kazire, and that ended up really kind of clinching it for him.
I don't know, shame on Hahn. Like, your guy puts his chip, on the first playoff hole, he chips into the bunker, and Hahn still can't find a way to hit like an 8-foot uphill putt to win. Yeah.
That's why he's James Hahn.
I guess.
Although he was undefeated in career playoffs.
I actually had to turn off. Like, it got like, something like you finish quickly sometimes when you're watching the good amateur porn. Like, I couldn't watch it. It was kind of like painful. Like, no one could win. It was like getting annoying. I didn't have any like real stake in the game.
You know what's going to kill me this week? That where there's the 3 courses, there's like no first round leaders. They don't offer first round leaders because everyone's playing the 3 different courses. And like after I had never had a better Thursday than I did last week. It was incredible. Thank you.
That was awesome.
The Gooch coming with his top 5. Like the top 5s on the first round leaders. It sucks for anyone in the States who can't play on like these sorts of books that have the each ways, but they're so killer for first round leaders especially. Just being able to hit a 50 to 1 Gooch for coming in T4.
I'm shocked they offer those. So
me too.
Maybe
so
we shouldn't talk about it.
I'm going to keep riding it out until it stops working. But just having Kirk was incredible.
It was amazing.
And then the Stewart top 5 kind of saved me with a couple head-to-heads. But like for a week that I didn't hit a winner, turned out really nicely. And then I was able to grab Rory at 41 to 1. Rory plus Jags money line to tease him up for the U.S. Open.
All the Jags money line.
Eagles plus 2.5, under 40, and Jordan Spieth for the Masters, 28 to 1. So I feel like I'm now properly invested in Spieth for the Masters. I don't need to bet on him anymore.
So you've brought this up. I'm happy because we're getting this a lot now. People like are showing us their juice tickets that we talked about. No one reinvented the wheel here. Like it's something that you could do that people have done long before me. But someone showing me their ticket is like, granted Harmon didn't win, but it was like Brian Harmon with a weekend football game. That's not what I advise to do. The games you bet have to be over before the golf starts. You can't imagine having your Brian Harmon on Saturday parlayed with whatever, maybe it was the Falcons. And they do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
You're crazy to do that.
It's kind of, just...
You're not crazy. It's the same bet.
This bet in general is kind of crazy. It's just a nice way to tease up these low golfers.
But I don't advise doing it with an event that... Okay, we have super futures, which you can get to, which are different. But in this concept of juicing it up with a game of the week that you're already betting, the mental anguish of having a guy in the lead for a golf tournament and then you're subsequently watching a football game that it's attached to losing 14-0 I couldn't mentally handle that. So when I do it, the games are usually before the final, before the event.
So either the bet is done or...
Yeah, and I know I have to bet that golfer without a part,
Another big thing that I encountered this week, and I encounter it almost every week when it comes to people who have outrights in, someone had Brian Harmon, they were like, oh, who do I hedge on for Brian Harmon going into the final round? It's well, there's 6 guys 2 shots off the lead. You can't. The only time you can really hedge if you want to get into that situation, and if you want to hedge, some people do, some people don't, but you kind of have to wait for it to play out and see if it gets into a one-on-one situation. Yeah. Or the odds become so good on the other guy that you just blindly say, you know what, even though this guy has a 3-stroke lead, this guy's paying 9 to 1, I'll invest some there in case he does come back, then I don't have to hedge as much. But you kind of need to make that, I wouldn't say, hey, 1 week I want to hedge, and then the next week you don't hedge. I think it's one of those things where you do it all the time, or you just don't do it.
Yeah,
and I know I've fallen guilty to not doing it and not doing it before. Sometimes it's hard to pull the trigger.
Sometimes it is. It's hard. And this week, I mean, the live lines, when you have like a guy like Harman leading, and the chalk is still 6-1 on a Saturday night, there's no hedges.
No. There is the bet I do want to talk about, though. Let's get to this. At SpennyMac84 on Twitter sent this to us earlier today. Sergio Garcia, 45-1 to win the Masters. Parlayed with Alabama, 4-1 to win the national championship. Parlayed with the New England Patriots, 5.5-1 to win the Super Bowl. So 3 future bets, all parlayed together. He bet $27.45 the payout, $41,000. So 2 of those legs have already won. He's being offered a live cash out of $18,239. What do you do? Because I don't really know. If it was me, I'd probably cash out 10 grand of it and let the rest ride. But like, do you let it ride? Do you just take the cash out for 18 grand? Do you bet Jacksonville 9-1 to win the Super Bowl, then try to hedge against that? Like, I don't know.
You've got to hedge based on the Patriots are plus like 240, 245 to win the Super Bowl. Am I wrong on that?
I think they're minus 105 to win the Super Bowl. I think that's what they're at. Maybe that's the AFC. No, it's the Super Bowl.
You got to hedge. They got to play a game against the Vikings. You got to hedge.
But the thing is, do you let it roll for this week?
No, I don't think you hit the cash out button. I just think there's ways you can hedge, whether that's betting Jags to win the Super Bowl, betting Jags to win this week. There's a lot of hedge.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Do you just not concern yourself with the game this week and just assume the Patriots are going to win? So, okay, you would start making your action now.
But it's Monday morning, and you're talking to the guy that had all the Jags yesterday. So I'm still like in this afterglow of Jags.
Like I said, Jags money line plus Rory equals 41-1. Just bet against the Ander curse. That's all you need to do.
I'd be shocked if the Jags won, but I don't know. They kind of do what needs to be done to win games as an underdog. They just have that recipe.
Sure,
but I don't want to turn. I'm not.
The thing is, I'm just to talk through it, because there is no right answer to this. The right answer, I guess, would be just let it ride and try to win 41 grand. If you think if you made this bet thinking the Patriots are going to win and you don't care.
I'll say this: there is a wrong answer. A wrong answer would be doing nothing. The amount you want to hedge, there is no right or wrong answer to that. Not hedging to me is criminal.
See, the big thing with the hedging on this, though, is you need so much in your bankroll to begin with to make the hedge proper that cashing out's probably the better option, unless you have a huge bankroll. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough just to throw 2 grand on the Jags.
And it's one thing to win that much money on the bet, but we know with these books, you can't, like, at least for me, like, I can't even get in that much money, like, at a time. No, I can get in more than enough money to make bets on a golf tournament or to make a Sunday football wager, but I can't, like, they don't even allow you to sometimes to deposit the amount of money that you're referring to.
That's why I'm saying that if you, let's say you just take a 50% cash out right now so he's being offered $18,200 for a live cash out. Take 9 grand, let the other 9 grand ride, and hopefully that turns into 26 or whatever it is. Then you still win 9 grand. That's a big deal. You bet $25. It's an interesting situation.
It's like game show-ish, right?
It's like deal or no deal.
He's like literally at the game show, yeah.
But if you don't,
I got Drew Carey like on the fucking stick.
But if you don't do anything about it, and you just say, hey, I think the Patriots are going to beat the Jags,
okay,
which they should.
That's a fair strat, and then just worry about it in the head-to-head game.
And then you get your hedge. Like, if the Patriots win this week,
are they a pick'em versus the Vikings?
They're probably a pick'em versus the Vikings in what, a 6.5, 7 point.
What I noticed quickly again, and we're not going to spend more than it. The Vikings are huge. They're only they're a 3-point favorite I saw, but the money line is exorbitant for a 3-point favorite. If you know what I mean. It doesn't match up with what I recall 3-point favorites being on the money line.
The thing is, if it's Vikings Patriots, you're going to get basically even money on your hedge to bet Vikings. You might even get a little bit of juice potentially. It might worst case it's minus 120.
Yeah, I think
for the Vikings money line.
I think it's a pick.
So if the Patriots win this game, your live cash out then jumps from 18 to 21. Is that worth it?
Probably not.
So these are the questions you need to ask yourself. Again, I don't have an answer for it. I know you don't have an answer for it. It's just it's
the only wrong answer is not hedging.
Unless you're not a person who hedges.
The amount you want. This is different, though. This isn't like a normal bet. Like me not hedging that like parlay that's going to the fourth leg is different.
But that's also you speaking, and I would listen. I'd probably just probably cash out the entire thing right now. The $18,000 for me would be like, whoa, I won a bunch. Maybe this guy, he's making these bets. Maybe he doesn't care.
It's Alabama. The concept of parlaying every bet with Alabama to win the national championship and the Patriots to win the Super Bowl is so stupid, yet. Like, really just a stroke of genius, because it feels like they're the same team, and they always win. Bullshit.
All right, you want to get to the course? Ziz, Career Builder Challenge. We got 3 courses this week. So, for people that don't quite understand or are new to the concept, there are 156 players in the field this week, a rotation of 3 courses. You have La Quinta CC, you have the Nicklaus course, and the Stadium course, which will also be the home course. So how this works is every player in the field will play 3 rounds. The cut comes after 54 holes this week, meaning that the top 70 in ties after 54 holes will go on to play the Stadium course again on Sunday, unless, and you know how this works out from time to time, that there's more than, like, if you have more than 78 people that are tied, you get, like, the MDF after 36 holes. So let's say you're T70, but the T70 is actually, like, there's 81 players. So if it goes more than 78 players this week after 54 holes, the cut is actually the top 60 in ties, and the other guys just get paid not to play.
I hate this tournament so much.
Hey, Hudson Swafford's the defending champion.
If I wasn't in, like, before I came into your universe, this might have been a tournament that I didn't even like playing, and now, you know, just part of this whole community, that's sort of like, there's not an option for that ever, which is cool and awesome, but I hate this tournament. I remember a couple years ago.
This tournament was the most profitable tournament, technically, I've ever had in terms of betting on anything.
Okay, we'll get to that sideways variance in a second, and it might have happened for me also. I don't see how it couldn't have, but the TV coverage is so annoying.
Oh, it's going to be worse.
Like you mentioned me off air, we couldn't see Hadwin's 59 last year.
Oh, no, they rushed a camera crew over. We got to see holes 17 and 18.
Yeah, like, on Saturday, the leader might not be anywhere on a
TV.
Camera.
Yeah.
Because he's not on the TV course.
The only thing that you can count on
is a very frustrating
is that no matter
tournament.
where Phil plays, cameras will be on Phil, regardless of the course that he's at.
So is Rom going to be in his group at least?
He would have to
God
be.
willing.
Yeah, so you'll get like Rom, Phil, and Reed probably all in the same one.
Yeah, that'd be great then. I can handle that. Either way, it's a horrible...
But in terms of
sweat PGA experience coverage.
Not only is that the case...
Pre-strike. Now they're in a strike.
Not only are they in a strike, there's no shot tracker at Nicklaus or La Quinta.
Oh, it's worse. You're right.
So it's just Stadium course. So even when I went back and looked at stats, there are none from these other 2 courses.
Like I said, there's no tournament worse for sweating the cut for the DraftKings or your, oh my God.
Now, I'll get into this more. I have Bergerson on tomorrow's show to talk about the DraftKings, but everyone is guaranteed 54 holes here, so the stars and scrubs approach is really probably the way you want to play this. Because like 6 of 6, I don't want to say is irrelevant. You'll still want to have 6 of 6, obviously, but guys not getting cut after 36 holes, the fact they get cut after 54 holes gives them the extra 18 holes just to play with. So if you have like 2 scrubs and they don't make the cut, but they do a ton of scoring at 6,500, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I hate this tournament. You talked me into betting Duffner that 2 years ago.
Even when you look back at it, the favorites rarely win this tournament. Because it's a super, like, to talk about these courses, like, La Quinta was the 2nd easiest course on tour last season. Nicklaus was, like, 37th of 50. And the hard one, the Stadium course, was 30th out of 50. Like, the winning score is going to be, like, minus 26. And at those sorts of events, where it's not a super long course either, like the shorter hitters, hell, Patrick Reed's won here, Bill Haas has won here, Brian Gay's won here in the past, Vegas has won too. It's not to say that you can't be a bomber and win, but there doesn't seem to be any sort of real advantage to guys that drive the ball 350 yards.
And you don't even have to be an elite putter. Most of these greens are they roll really pure here. And even, you know, Duffner, he probably stuck everything to 4 feet, except the shot from the rocks.
Well, let's talk about that then. So, how this all correlates back to itself, how this ended up being the most profitable tournament that really we've ever had was. And I think a lot of people can speak to this too when it comes to how they manage their funds and their account if they ever wager on anything.
Yeah.
We hit Duffner to win. He beat Lingmerth in a playoff after chipping it out of the rocks in the playoff, which was just fantastic. And then all of a sudden, we start looking at futures master odds, and for whatever reason, Danny Willett was just buried at 150 to 1. Then we have this overflow of money in our account, so we make wagers that are way too big that we would normally bet on a 150 to 1 golfer on Danny Willett, and boom, we all win the monies.
Yeah, that's sort of how it works. I mean, that's the magic of hitting the Danny Willett, but when I win a golfer, that's usually when, like, I notice, like...
You upgrade a level?
Yeah, no, it's not even about upgrading. It's like, I have all these Masters bets or something in my account, or US Open bets, and they're all like from the same like 36-hour period. And it's like, I 100% hit a golfer before that, like before cashing out, before betting next week's golf, get it in. That's when you do it.
Yeah, you always win at the Waste Management, so I assume that's when all your bets come in.
Except I never win the Super Bowl. And I go really hard, like it's...
I'm not going hard on the Super Bowl this year. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
I had that moment this morning.
There's no point. Like, why am I betting this one game that's really random?
I like to have some fun with some things. Not like coin toss, but like, yeah, no, I don't... I also don't really see myself having a strong opinion if it is the game that it's the favorite, if it's the game of favorites. Anyhow, that's always how it works. That's always how it works. My Chargers, you know, Super Bowl bets usually happen after I win a golfer.
All right, so let's get to the key stats for CareerBuilder again, where it's 3 separate courses and there's no shot link at 2 of them. It's really tough to discern proximity ranges, that kind of thing. So I'm just kind of going birdie or better percentage and strokes gained approach is my 2 big ones this week. So I'm going to run through the top players in terms of strokes gained approach that are in the field right now. I'm going to put up the past 24 rounds, but you know, it's who you would think, sort of, in a way, and then other guys that are not quite there, like Ryan Armour is number 1 in this category. So it's
He's
Armour,
always lingering lately.
It's Armour, Garrigus, Sink, Na, Spawn, Hoagie, Oppenheim, Scott Piercy, John Rahm, and Nick Watney. Like, and if you look further down that list, and you can find this all up on fantasynational.com, you can search it for yourself, but I have these ones on my Twitter and in my column. Stuart Sink, Phil Mickelson, and Garrigus are the 3 guys that keep popping up, along with my main man, Chez Reavie. Of course, Rahm's in there, too.
I like Chez. A lot of the other names you mentioned
don't do it for you. Armour's real interesting.
Spawn, I know you're a Spawn guy. You've sort of been preaching the victory coming. Armour is just lingers, man. He lingers. He doesn't seem to have any problems anywhere, it seems.
And now
has he had a bad event?
He had one, like, not like bad event. He came like T40 or something at like RSM.
Sure.
After like winning and coming 4th and doing all that. The other one I would look for too, and this is just kind of like a course breakdown type of thing. Across the 3 courses, you know, each of them is a short par 72. So the par 5s are actually more difficult here than you'd think. They're not super eagleable, and 2 of them actually play over par, 1 at the stadium course, but there are 25 par 4s, sorry, of the 30 that measure between 350 and 450 yards, which is really interesting. Those are short par 4s. Like, those are your scoring holes. So the guys from the past 24 rounds that pop up in those numbers, Ryan Armour, number 1. Wow. Bud Colley, number 2. Chez Reavie, number 3. Sabatini, JT Poston, Patton Kazire, Hunter Mahan, JJ Spawn, Party, Marty Laird. Then you get into Snedeker, Von Taylor, Zach Johnson, Peter Malnati, who's coming off another good week, always putts well on Bermuda. The Bermuda stuff is the Bermuda putting slats I have up in the column as well. We'll probably check them up at some point just to kind of see who they are, but it's like Nicholas Lindheim, Kisner, Wes Bryan, Phil Mickelson, Brian Gay, Harmon. Just the regular guys that always just kind of kill it between now and then. They stop playing well for like 6 weeks as we get to POA. Then when we get back to Florida, they all start playing well again.
It's an interesting field because a lot of guys you named, and we'll get into it, don't have the number, the betting number that you would like blindly think they should have.
No, they're all like
and
half
maybe
the odds
this
of what you would
goes to
think.
your point of, I mean, because I don't want to say can play like a muni, but like you just put it in play. You got to clean like 135 into the green, and that seems like what a lot of these holes set up to be this week, that anyone can have success here.
Who's going to have the hot putter? And that's why,
You know,
let's get into the odds then, because when we look at it,
this is frustrating.
John Rahm is 10-1, and John Rahm is by far the best player in this field. But is this a look-ahead spot for John Rahm? Why is John Rahm playing the CareerBuilder? Let me ask you that. Do you know why?
Well, Torrey Pines is next week, and it's his first win. So I know something's supposed to lead into that.
There
Did he
is.
get a T something here last year, which got him into Torrey Pines? But wouldn't he just be in Torrey Pines because
he was in Torrey
John
Pines,
Ron?
but he was like T37 last year at this tournament. And then he won the following week at Farmers.
So he's just, playing this to tune up for...
I think that there is so...
But he played fantastic in Hawaii. Did he not?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. But I just want to make sure that I think that there's a lot of money to be made for Jon Rahm next week. And I'm not talking about winning the golf tournament. But there's a lot invested in him playing well. Because I would say that there's a 99.9% chance he gets the proper playing partner.
Saying.
And everyone, he could be in the final group of the Masters, and fewer people will see him.
Ricky's there.
So Ricky, Rahm, and Tiger. There's your group.
It's a big event. A lot of guys go
And
there.
people are going to have eyeballs on it. If he ends up playing with Tiger, it is very important that not only he doesn't need to defend his title. But
why is he playing here? So
I thought you
had an answer.
No, I think it's just to get smooth. Like I think he's going to be trying some stuff out. I mean, of course he's going to try to win. He's, like I said, he's by far the best player in this field. He's the number three player in the world. The next highest ranked player in the world rankings in this field is Brian Harman at 20.
And here's the thing, to me, like Jon Rahm at 10-1, and then the next best guy who the Vegas thinks can beat him is Brian Harman. It makes you just want to put everything on Jon Rahm, but the tournament doesn't set up for it, and you have brought in a situation that doesn't set up for it. But holy crap! I mean, he's 5th, 6th best player in the world.
3rd best player in the world.
Okay, I was sort of being generous because I'm just saying yes, he's officially the 3rd best player in the world. And I believe he's a staple in the top 5. So we'll end that conversation. And you look at the rest of these names, and then the guy next up is Harman. That is not even close. That is not even close.
But the thing is, I don't know how much lower than 10-1 you can make him.
He should be lower than 10-1.
Should he, though? Should he be 5-1 in a 156-man field?
No, and you're right. It's an awkward field, and there's days where there's a lot of there's a lot of intangibles. There's a lot of things that are out of people's control here.
So I don't think
because it's weather. You're playing weather on different. I mean, I know it's the same region, but you can catch.
It could be weird. You could catch a wind gust or a sandstorm at La Quinta one day, or just if it's windy one day, does that affect one course more than the other? There are a lot of variables that go with it, but I don't think
variables. That's the word.
I don't think that the 10-1 number is wrong. I think it's the numbers on the rest of the guys that are next up that are wrong. They're too low. I was lining up to bet Webb Simpson this week, and then I looked down.
Criminal.
Oh, he's 18-1. I don't want to bet Webb at 18-1. I just don't, and I think he's great for this. I'll just play him on DraftKings.
Every tier disappoints me,
except for one guy, and we'll get to him.
But there's one guy that you're right is properly priced, and I'll leave him to you.
Actually, there's 2 that are properly priced.
But every tier disappoints me. Every tier.
So let's do the top 10 then. Rahm is 10-1. Then we have Brian Harman at 14-1. Then Patrick Reed, 18. Webb Simpson at 18. Kevin Kisner at 20. Phil at 22. Zach Johnson at 28. He's missed 3 straight cuts here, by the way. Patton Kizzire, Jason Duffner, Charles Howell, Shez Reavie, all at 30-1. I only bet one of those guys. I don't feel good about it. It was Shez Reavie. And that's just a losing bet, but I'm making it anyway.
I'm betting the same guy as you, and it gets uglier after that. But I'm not betting it, but it feels like this Phil seems like a decent look. I don't know. I'm not betting him. I don't know. I hate all of it.
Phil's a great Bermuda putter, which is kind of nice. And if it gets into one of these things where he actually puts the ball in the fairway, which God forbid Phil could do, although if he hits it into the bunker, he'll get a free drop in the middle of the fairway anyway, so it won't make a difference. But he's someone with who can score. We know his birdie or better percentage is through the roof. He checks out.
He's got to just not make the
just don't make a triple bogey, Phil. But when was the last time that didn't happen? It always happens.
I mean, Reed, does he win anymore?
I don't know.
It seems like a weak number, in a feel
that's the right number for Reed.
He's the player profile that you kind of like this week,
and he's won here before.
But listen. I'm not. There are a lot of people that jumped on the bandwagon because of the Ryder Cup, and that are off of it because he was horrible last year. I'm not any of that. I was on it before. I was on it then. I'm on it now. But at 18-1, to me, he brings the same chance of doing this as some of those guys in that 30 to 40, whose numbers really bother me, I'll say.
All right, so I mentioned the first, like, CH3, Kazire, Duffner, they're all in that 30 range along with Shez. I like Shez. Then you get to, like, Steele, Colley, both 33 to 1. Snedeker, Hadley, 35 to 1. Uline, Chappell at 40. Knox at 45. Swafford, Bubba, Bill Haas, all at 50 to 1. Like, there are two guys there that I think are mispriced, and that's why I will be betting them this week. One is Snedeker, who really needs to win to get into the Masters at some point.
Now, my question to you is, you like, I don't know, I feel like a couple times I've brought it up, you've called the Pebble win. Is this you like protecting, like that you just know the Snedeker win is coming? Because he has to have it.
I don't know that it's coming, but just think about the talent of the guys in this field. Who's a better player, Brandt Snedeker or Kevin Kisner?
No, so and he could take his 1998 technology driver and he can hit it to the 135 to the pin and be Brandt Snedeker.
Absolutely.
I like it a lot.
Now, I'm worried that he's coming off an injury. The last time we saw, he had to walk off the course and he was dehydrated in Indonesia. But skill-wise, he's not 35 to 1. In this field, he's one of the 8. If Webb Simpson's 18 to 1 to win a tournament, and Snedeker is double those odds, I'm taking Snedeker 100 times out of 100.
That's a fantastic breakdown.
Now, objectively, if they had no odds next to them, I'd probably like Webb a little bit more this week.
Yeah, but Webb's my nemesis, and I don't want to bet him. But
Webb in Phoenix is going to be like 5 to 1 by the time this starts.
No.
The other guy who's undervalued right now is Chappell. Why is Chappell 40 to 1 here? Why is Chesson Hadley 35 to 1 and Kevin Chappell is 40? I love Hadley. But why is he 35 to 1?
Apparently this sets up for him. He's been out in Palm Springs for a bit.
Maybe I need to eat it then. Eat it and take the 35.
I don't.
Because I think this is the range you want to be in.
This is so...
Like, I like Colley, too. Colley sets up...
All these guys, they're all... this whole range.
Here's the problem. 7 of the last 8 winners of this event played at least one of the 2 Hawaii tournaments. And most of the guys we just mentioned, outside of Chappell, have not. Snedeker didn't, Colley didn't, and Hadley didn't. So that's worrisome. But
it's all work. Like, this is I'm the stupid loser, Pat, that thinks that they might take Chesson Hadley and they're one and done. Like, that's how high I am here, because, like, when else do I want Chesson Hadley?
Also, where's Pat Perez? He probably would have won.
Where is he?
He's not here. He's not playing.
He's in my notes. I got something to say about him.
About his baby swag?
Well, yeah, because there's no doubt in my mind Pat Perez will cash in on his baby swag. He just found out he's having a baby, and so... then that becomes the debate of, like, what is official baby swag? I think baby swag has a few windows because it's like finding out there's the baby and then having the baby. I don't think, like, any gender reveal is worthy. But Pat Perez is going to, there's no doubt, no one plays with, like, giving less shits than Pat Perez and how great he's playing in this, like, career renaissance. Can imagine how well he's going to play when he, like, has giving less shits because he's got that, like, baby swag. Waste of a time getting into that, maybe. But how about at the end of the line of the guys you just mentioned? And he did play last week.
Haas?
And he played fantastic.
Haas has won.
Russell Knox.
Oh, Russell Knox. I meant Haas. Haas has won here twice, by the way.
This is a Haas course. He seems to be a guy sometimes you bet. I don't know if he's on your radar, but... or is Knox going to be like everyone loves him because of like how great he played last week, and now he's going to just disappoint all you DraftKings, all you everything?
Although it makes sense, like when we think about how you
win here, and what this course sets up for.
Hit some fairways, score on par 4s. That's basically the Russell.
The par 5s aren't giving. A lot of the par 5s aren't handing eagles to the bigger hitter, so he's not getting disadvantaged there.
Are you interested in Russell Knox? Like,
I am.
Ever since the Travelers, I've been out, and I feel like I took my Russell Knox money and ran away with it. I haven't reinvested it back at all.
But no one's had to reinvest. That doesn't mean you can't feel getting in now.
Sure.
Like, doesn't mean
but do you think you've seen enough form from Russell Knox after 1 week?
In the correlation of it being all the layouts kind of working for his game, and the guys that have won here, for the most part, all sort of fit that Russell Knox profile, outside of Swafford.
Well, after I tell you the next guy on my card, you're going to laugh at me because I'm like making a case against Knox, but that's me. Let's see if I can find Knox. I'm going to pull him up on fantasynational.com, which you can become a member to now. You probably want to do that before the big tournaments start hitting with Tiger in them, because you know those are going to be juiced. Let's see here. Russell Knox, last week at the Sony. So his last 3 tournaments, he has a 10th, he has a 37th, and a 9th place finish. That was at the OHL Mayakoba in Mexico. He's gained strokes, putting.
Not form?
That's pretty good for him. He's not gaining a ton. He gained 4.6 strokes around the greens last week. Here, I think that's going to be irrelevant. Because either you're on the green and you're making birdie putts, or if you've missed the green, like if you're, put it this way, if you're around the green and like gaining strokes and you're like saving par by doing that, you're not going to get to minus 26. Like, you just need to hit basically every green and make some putts. He did gain strokes putting last week, but that was for the first time since the Bridgestone back in late July. So I don't know. If everyone wants Knox, I understand it, just not for me.
I'm betting him.
Okay.
I don't know. That could be silly, but who's the guy that you're gonna come at me with?
60 was the number that I found.
For who? Knox?
No. For the guy that I like. And it's a tee to green play, and someone who can win, and someone who's won at Valspar before. And weirdly enough, like if you look at the leaderboard from this tournament from last year, the 2017 CareerBuilder, and look at it from the Valspar 2017, a lot of similar names, both a Hadwin, Dom Bazzelli tournament. Hadwin ended up winning the second one, obviously. He ended up at the 59, came second at this one. It's Kevin Streelman.
He plays the same game.
Yeah, he plays
same guy.
He plays the same game, and you get him at better odds.
By a hair.
You get him at 60 instead of 45.
Okay, I'm seeing, yeah, okay, I pulled up a different book there for a second, but, same guy. I got nothing bad to say about that. I know he was popping on a lot of the Fantasy National.
Yeah.
I like that pick. I could bet him also.
No, so it's not exclusive for you then.
Yeah, no, I don't have to pick one or the other. This is the profile. I mean, Swafford's a big hitter, right?
Yeah, but he just hits a ton of greens in regulation.
Sure, but I'm saying, like, historically the winners here, like, aren't big drivers. Like, Swafford and the recent winners to me is, like, the longest driver.
Yes, and then Vegas before that.
Sure.
Vegas coming off a pretty hot week in Hawaii.
You know what? I just, like, did an eye roll. I actually don't mind him a lot, and he made my notes of guys, like, maybe that can make the back of the card.
Okay, so put it this way. The last two events for Kevin Streelman right now, 17th at RSM, 20th at OHL. I don't like that he didn't play either one of the Hawaii tournaments. That kind of terrifies me a little bit. But he's gained strokes off the tee in 5 straight tournaments, gained strokes through approach in 6 straight tournaments, gained strokes around the green in 5 straight tournaments. Unfortunately, he pushed, basically, putted field average at the RSM when he came 17th. There's no stats for the OHL. At the Shriners, he lost 9 strokes putting, but still made the cut. It's impressive stuff to lose that many strokes putting. So if he has one of these average putting weeks, he's hitting all the greens in regulation. His tee to green game is out of control.
My entire card, I think, like, will be guys of this, like, Streelman,
level, yeah.
Knox, like, profile, like, level, but also, like, skill set.
Keep it straight, hit some greens in regulation, hope to sink a few putts.
Hope that Knox, like, brick of a putter, man.
Why doesn't he get the Jaco van Ziel putter?
No.
Little
And then, like, man, Harman's hitting, but Harman's mallet annoys the shit out of me. He's got like a foot mallet.
Any way you're touching, like, no one is hotter in the world right now than Brian Harman.
I know.
Can you bet him at 14-1?
But is this
I don't
also
think you can.
Not a course that suits him?
He came 3rd here last year.
Like, he's also, like, plays that game of, he's a way better version at the moment of a Streelman.
He is. I mean, when you look at the putting splits on Bermuda grass, and like you see like Phil up near the top and that Lindheim guy up near the top, Brian Harman is always on that list too.
But like Harman's also maybe going to take Charlie Hoffman's mantle of Golf Channel birdie leader.
Potentially, yeah.
Because he crushes these he crushes it. Did he finish with the same number that he started Saturday with?
He was minus 13 after the first 2 rounds.
So what, 15 or something?
15, yeah.
Like, I knew he's dead once he's missed it. Like, he had it, I think, on the 3rd hole on Sunday. I was watching football, but tracking, I saw he had like a 6-9 inch for a birdie. You know he's dead. Because that's like his butter.
That is. That's
once those aren't going on, and it seems like a thing. People talk about it. I wasn't really paying attention. Like, his 36-54 hole bugaboo. But he's got one.
Maybe he's someone who needs to be chasing.
Maybe. I don't know. It's tempting. It's tempting.
It's not tempting at 4. Like, there's no chance I'm betting him at 14-1.
But it's not like he keeps showing up on every leaderboard. And
sure.
Just like last week. I'm not doing it.
Do you just say, screw it, I'll eat the juice?
No, I'm betting.
I'll bet plus 150.
I'm trying to bet 5 poor versions of
Brian Harman.
That can be him. That I have the trust in their mental confidence. Well, not all of them, because your guy, I don't know what he'll do, but the number's right.
Who, Streelman or Spawn? Spawn's at 66. I'm waiting on this one. I haven't put it in yet, just because last week he dropped. Maybe this week he'll drop as well. But I don't know. I said I'm going to ride him out until he wins. And I'm excited for him to get on POA putting surfaces. That's where he had a lot of success last year. So next week at Torrey, at the Genesis, at Pebble Beach, I think he's very much in play. But there's no reason that he can't play well at this tournament too. He lost so many strokes putting and around the green last week. It was ridiculous. He gained over 3 off the tee, 3 through his approach game. He's just been consistently sticking these irons week after week after week. Eventually, the putter will just come through for him. And we see that happen to a lot of guys. It happened to Swafford last year. And this is a course where this can happen. I like JJ Spawn. I think he's undervalued. And again, I'm just going to keep riding him out until he wins.
Yeah, I'm on that also.
Or we get to Florida and then I jump off.
No, I'm not on it all the time. I'm kind of like picking my spots, but I believe in the win is coming, and this one sets up nice. And there's also a guy in that same price range. I know we were both hoping to see pop a bigger number.
Was it Ryan ML?
No, I think based on his stats, his number is fair. Lingmerth, who lost in that playoff to Duffner.
He's lost twice in a playoff.
Who has that the skill set that we've spoken about, that we're betting the guys who do that in a 30, 40, 50, 60 to 1 range. He is, again, that guy. I just don't want to do it. It's not short enough.
Yeah, it's not short enough.
I mean, it's
I want him at 150. I'm not getting it, so I'm not touching it. Let him win. Good for David Lingmerth. To quote Cam, take me to your leader, which I still don't quite understand. But I don't know. I don't get where Marvin the Martian mixes in there. But either way, it's a funny voice. Piercy, 80 to 1.
Like his name's written
Piercy
here.
heating up with the irons again. Him and Ryan Palmer, I'm going to group them into the same. Ryan Palmer's 125 to 1. 5 career top 10s and 11 starts at this course. He's hurt for the last 2 seasons. And she's dialed in with the irons just like Piercy last week. Could not hit. You all right over there?
Yeah, I thought I had a problem, but everything's good.
You always got a problem.
Yeah.
Let's be real. But these guys are dialing in with their irons. They can't putt, but Palmer's plenty familiar with these putting surfaces. He's putted well on them before, so I don't see a reason why he can't do that again. There's no difference now if he's going to be back to full health, and he is playing on that medical exemption. We've seen guys play well on that medical exemption when they need to retain their tour card, and this is a spot where I think he can come through.
Palmer's got some inner home piece, I think, that wasn't there a year ago during his struggles.
But he was hurt, too. Now he's not hurt anymore.
I just don't.
You just don't like Ryan Palmer?
I like Ryan Palmer. I think for DraftKings could be fantastic. I just don't trust him on Sunday.
That's fair.
And I know, listen, the number is so big. It's just get me to Sunday and you play your each ways, and that's the battle. And I get it. Anyone who does this, for me, it's give me a Sunday tee time. Winning is so hard. I like Piercy more. Granted, Piercy's price
is 80, and Palmer's 125.
A bit of a different direction.
Okay, these 2 other guys I just want to kind of bring up. I was on him last week, and he came T4. Brian Stewart, who's just an excellent Bermuda putter. Or at least he has been recently, and a decent track record at this course. The other one is Vegas. Former winner. Hot fire at the Tournament of Champions. I mean, we talk about ball striking, and maybe this is one of the, it's funny, when we think about tiers of players and how they kind of mesh up skill-wise, and we saw it really play out at the Tournament of Champions. It's Dustin. Dustin's the man when it comes to that skill set. Rahm is on the next little level down, and then Vegas is the poor man's version of them. But you're getting the poor man's odds on him. He's 66 instead of 10 to 1. If you really wanted to bet Rahm, cut your bet by a 6th and bet on Johnny Vegas.
Johnny Vegas also knows how to make West Coast birdies.
He knows how to win. The guy can win. He also knows how to make Canada birdies.
That's for sure. I don't love it, but I like it, and I actually might put real money on it because he's a ball striker.
Yeah,
he is a ball. He doesn't have that. A lot of that's overlooked with him, but he really is a ball striker.
People just think huge off the tee when they think Johnny Vegas. But the guy can get it dialed in. He can get it going. So I like him. Hadwin, after the 59 last year, he just seems out of sorts.
Out of sorts, not for me. Maybe on Team Canada, Nick Taylor was a name that caught my eye. Or David Hearn at a bigger number, but he a win. But it's kind of suits him. But we kind of mentioned his name briefly.
There was the 2 middle guys. That's 60 to 1 too. And that's the thing that I'm really having a tough time is whittling these guys down this week. Grayson's at 60. who's another sort of ball striker, big bomber type guy. And then Chris Kirk, who just keeps playing well.
Chris Kirk. You got to, I think, ride that.
He has enough momentum right now. He played well in the swing, played
He's
well
a guy
last.
I would keep on cards. He's a guy I would keep on cards. What about Poston?
Poston? JT? I'm not going to bet JT Poston to win. Are you?
No, but he...
I just mentioned like 20 guys in that same range I like more.
Jason past the Coke rack?
I think that's more of a DraftKings type play. But he's the type of guy, he's the type of winner this course could produce. Because he makes birdies in bunches.
I'd rather have like Streelman though.
So would I.
Like that Streelman-Knox player.
Where's Kirk here? I just want to make sure that I know Kirk jarred one. He started off the second round last week, jarring one from the middle of the fairway.
Kirk, I'm seeing at a 50.
I got him at 60 on 365. I just want to make sure. Oh man, he gained 6.3 strokes around the greens last week. That is ludicrous, and that's just not going to help you here. I don't think so, at least. But he has been doing well with the irons.
He's like a form guy though.
He is.
Like he loses it, and it's like disaster.
His last two starts, 10th and 4th.
I'm betting him. Form guy. This whole range, 40, like...
Well, the thing is, if you don't take anyone at the top, and I'm not taking anyone less than 30 to 1, so I can afford to take a few more shots in this range. Now that Spieth's not in the field, and he's not going to suck away all my money like a succubus.
Like your shortest bets, Shez and Sneds then, right?
Yeah. And I'm thinking about Colley, just because he just... There's not a thing I can... Him and Armour are the two guys, no matter what I look at stats-wise, they're there.
I bet Bud Colley so much last year.
I bet Bud Colley so much for the past 2 years. He never wins. It's awful. And I don't want to get in on him at 33 to 1.
Patton Kezire's 30 to 1 is pretty fun.
You think he's going to win again?
No. I felt that it was worth mentioning the odd dip.
He has to be.
Like, because what was it last week? 66 maybe?
Yeah, I think so. There was a couple people on him, too. Sharp play.
I know a couple people.
I was not one of those people.
His name ended up in my DMs by someone who I really trust, and I didn't bet it, so...
That's a bummer.
And all the time, I haven't been on either of the... He's one of those guys, I'd bet him, he'd be like, why? I'd be like, I want to be there.
I want to be there when it happens.
But
we missed it twice.
But, like, those were really big numbers.
They were like 110, 120.
Yeah.
We thought that he was going to have the season Xander had last year. Like, when he was up and coming, we thought he'd break through and be good. Now it just happened 2 years too late.
Yeah, or it sort of happened after the FedEx Cup. Like, he did it in the swing, and here we are again.
All right, let's get to some picks. Again, the full cheat sheet will be available up on my Facebook page, facebook.com/thepme. And I do want to recommend that everyone do go to Fantasy National and put in their own stuff. Like, that's the most fun part of the site. When you're a member, customize everything you want. Find out any information. Like, if it's just course history you want to look at, wait for the simulator to come up. Not a great week for the simulator last week because James Hahn almost won. He was, like, near the bottom. But, again, most of the guys made the cut at the very top. Like, I think, 18 of the top 20 guys made the cut. What more do you want? Although I had a bunch of 6-6 DraftKings lineups that just didn't cash, which is not regular. And this week it's going to happen too, because it's the weird cut rules. But first up, Chez Reavie. Feel like I'm lighting my money on. I feel like this is like Graham Dillette 2.0 for me. Just I'm lighting my money on fire with this one. But I want to be there. He's made 17 straight cuts. He has a top 20 in his past 7 events. He's so close. Maybe top 20 is just the play on Chez, because you're probably getting like 3.5 to 1 on top 20. But just I think he's the type of player that can win at this course. Doesn't this seem like it's kind of set up for him? If Rahm doesn't win by 20 strokes?
Again, he, fits the profile of a lot of the guys I like to back here.
So Chez for me, 2 blind wagers on Snedeker and Chappell. I think they're just undervalued compared to everyone else in this range. I think they're a higher skill level than even like Brian Harman and Webb Simpson, who are both 14 and 18 to 1. You give me double the odds, triple the odds from Harman down to Kevin Chappell, I'll take those 2.
I'm more on Chappell than Snedeker because I feel like there's more known, and Chappell also you mentioned played.
Yes, Chappell played, and that's the big thing. The 7 of the past 8 winners played one of the 2 Hawaii tournaments. And again, Snedeker's coming off a real rough go of it. And we haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, but did he get hurt, or was he just like it was just too hot?
Oh, in Indonesia he had dehydration and he had to come off.
But it was a wrist injury before that.
Yeah, like he hadn't played since like the U.S. Open or something like that when he came inside the top 5, mind you. He's just too skilled to be 35 to 1 in this field. I'm sorry. And if he's still hurt or he's just rusty, then screw it. It's a waste of money. But I'm going to take the plunge on Brandt Snedeker. So the other guys that I'm rolling with for sure, and I will update this as the week goes along. I think I've talked myself into Kirk. So Kirk, Streelman, and Spawn, I'm going to go in that 60 range.
I like them all.
That's the thing. If we're not playing anyone from the top of the card, you can take more shots down here.
Yeah.
So Kirk, Streelman, Spawn, Palmer is a bomb. I didn't, like, none of the, Blom rated out well for me
I tried.
again.
You're not going back to your boy Wise? I saw him deep down the board there.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed about Wise, because I was really paying attention to what he was doing, he screwed over a lot of, like, good-looking DK lineups for me, too. Off the tee, he was sensational. And he was just awful at every other facet of the game. So maybe Farmers, which is a really long course at Torrey, maybe that's somewhere to get behind him. But at, like, keep it in the fairway, like his biggest advantage doesn't really work out. The other guys that I'm considering, so because I do think I have room for a few more here, I'm really considering Vegas at 66. And I feel like I want to be in on one more of these top guys, whether it's Hadley at 35, a price I don't like, but I kind of like him. Bud Colley 33-1. Haas 50. You like Knox at 45. Like, is there one more of those guys? Armour 66. Maybe it's Armour. Anyway, in the update when I release everything, I'll have the official plays in there. But those are the guys that I'm really looking at right now. And I do think it's a week where you can go down a little bit and take more shots rather than pumping your bankroll on Webb Simpson.
Yeah.
You.
The for sure ones, kind of like you, because it's early in the week.
I will say the only ones that I've actually locked into play so far, Shez, Snedeker, Spawn, and Chappell.
I've locked nothing in, but I will be the moment you turn off the lights. Kevin Chappell, 100%. This pains me, but like I just feel it coming. Chesson Hadley,
okay.
The number is just, it's criminal. And then I'm piggybacking that in Russell Knox, and then I'm piggybacking your entire back three there of Kirk, Spawn, Streelman.
I like that range. I mean, those guys, with a top 5 last week from one of those guys, I know Streelman didn't play, but if Kirk had finished off the week really well, I think those guys are 40-1 in this field. Like, if one of them had the Russell Knox week, they replaced Russell Knox's odds, you know what I mean?
And then when Chesson Hadley, like, plays horrible and Brent Snedeker's, like, at the top, I'm going to be looking for a noose. Same odds. They're not the same guy.
I'm just looking at the very...
I can't do that thing.
Oh,
I could never do that. All that.
It's because you didn't choose school, did you?
No.
I mean, when you got the pocket dip going, you're... Yeah!
Well, I want all weekend that thing.
Is there anyone from, like, the, like, bomb section here that...
I tried.
I was looking at Jager bombs.
Oh, you're talking like...
Like bombs. Jager is 250-1. Mike Weir, 750-1. Any interest? Would you?
Oh my God, no.
If Mike Weir picked you up on a lift on Sunday, would you ask for his autograph?
A picture. I don't
Just
need
a picture, you don't need his autograph?
I don't even.
Peter Malnati is an excellent Bermuda putter. He's a former tour winner. He is 100% putting, but this course
Zach Blair?
Yeah. I have a very poor history with Zach Blair, so no thank you for me. Malnati is...
Didn't you say Sabatini pops on some of your
Sabatini
crap?
pops every week. He's like Luke List 2.0.
So I don't know, Hunter, but never, right?
Yeah.
Little Hunter Mahan, you still have that laptop?
I do. That's the laptop that's over there, Little Hunter.
Okay, you got me looking. Not saying Moon Bay.
Keith Mitchell, 250. Good Bermuda player.
You know it screwed John Peterson, by the way. Because Saturday morning,
when
he had to get into a bathtub with mattresses and his baby. Because they think there's going to be nuclear war.
That's true. I underrated that part of the weekend, I think, for the guys on the course. It'd be very stressful.
They literally said his in-laws were there too. He took the whole family. Imagine being stuffed into a tub with your mother-in-law with a mattress on top of you. I might have you miss some putts that afternoon. That was horrible.
Ben Martin, 110-1. He showed up again. Bermuda guy showed up last week.
If you care, he finished yesterday fantastic. And
So did Blom. Blom
and
finished with,
watching the garbage coverage, I found out that he birdied 16, 17, 18 because he was playing with Hahn, who would have given a nut for one of those.
Yeah, but he had also made like 8 in a row at one point, so
yeah, but
who's
he
to argue?
He couldn't get anything to drop down the stretch.
Merton's more of a DraftKings play.
JJ Henry.
What about your main man, Ben Silverman?
What about you? Didn't you mention Hostler last week?
I only mentioned Hostler because people like him because his name is Bo Hostler. That if you called him Jimmy Williams, no one would give a shit about him.
I don't know, Jim Herman for some Trump swag?
Oh, Hermanator.
Now I'm just naming names.
Yeah, so no one really sticks out to you. Like I do, I always like to play one bomb.
Yeah, I don't know. These are super bombs.
Might be like Malnati top 20. If he's 400 to 1, his top 20 will pay like 30 to 1. The guy can putt.
Does Colton O still play well? Obviously not if he's 300 to 1.
Would you go back to the Gooch or Blom?
Mav McNeely, your boy Landry. Now I'm just doing it in service because I've named like 15 guys. And
none of them interest you, is what we're getting at. I'll dig deeper in the week and I'll try to find a guy. But like last week, the Gooch popped right off the page for me. Blom popped off the page for me. So did Wise.
Rance Molnix?
Rance Molnix. Remember when it was like head and head? Remember at the U.S. Open coming out of it? It was like Scheifele and Molnix both had top 10s. And all of a sudden, Scheifele becomes like a top 25 player, and Molnix is 800 to 1 to win.
Oh, I don't know if you mentioned him. I think you did. The Boz? Where's he been?
This tournament in Valspar. That's it. What's he?
Because he's like, even though he hasn't won, he's very, at least this is maybe based on nothing, got that Sangmoon Bay of like either being there or being like nowhere.
Yeah, but he's nowhere more often than he's somewhere.
Of course.
So, anyway.
No,
there's no one down there that we like. I just wanted to go through and make sure we weren't missing it.
Like going farther, to me, it's more of like, I don't know.
John Daly?
I don't want to go any farther than almost like your Scott Piercy's.
Palmer is the lowest I'm going.
Oh, yeah. And now I'm just, now it's being rude.
Okay. One and done picks of the week. Last week, I selected Zach Johnson, and I was feeling very good about Zach Johnson. And then the weekend came, and Zach Johnson just decided he didn't want to play anymore.
So all he did was cut into half-year Chris Kirk.
Yes, that's all he ended up doing for me for the week. I had him as an outright, and I called it too. He was like 300 through 3 holes. I was like, I can see this happening now. He's going to end up.
He didn't beat Chris Kirk then.
Yeah, I'm very glad he didn't beat Chris Kirk. But it's like he's going to somehow eat into my Chris Kirk first-round leader money and then not do anything on the weekend, and boom, that's exactly what happened. But I had Zach Johnson. I think I'm up to like 300 and Josh Burkett's keeping track of all this.
Yeah, Josh is killing it. I gotta say this. It's 2 weeks in and my head's spinning. Because the pool this isn't a complaint. The pool's too big. Somebody's gonna catch a heater. I know there's the segment play, but I think about the main goal. And now it's like, I almost think you should waste no one ever. But I'm not prepared to play Buddy at the top because Rahm goes to courses that Rahm's gonna be like 6 to 1 this year.
Yeah,
because there's events he plays that other people
He'll play
don't.
The Byron Nelson and no one else will play.
Sure, whatever it is, you can name a handful of them. He likes to play a lot. He's got that Patrick Reed in him.
Well, he's also like 22.
Even more reason. I'm just saying.
He wants to make some money.
I'm just saying he's not Patrick Cantley with his schedule.
No, that he is not. You're gonna have a chance to use Rahm wherever you want.
Yeah, as like a huge favorite, and maybe this is the week, but there's some variables with the course that make it hard. Did you give your?
No, I didn't. Who do you think is in contention? Like if you're just looking at it objectively, and we're not using Rahm, is this week just to go screw it? Use Brian Herman. Everyone used him last week. And he didn't win. He's
still in form, yeah.
He's still in form, and a lot of people will not use him this week because they've already taken him.
Webb Simpson, people might be saving him for Phoenix. He could pop before
I feel like people are saving him.
Okay, sorry, saving him for Phoenix is a lot because Ricky's there, Hideki's there, Rahm is going to be there.
Speed's playing there this year.
Really?
Yeah.
What a loser. The most no fun guy on the tour is trying to be fun. Good for him, but I say that because I've had such success betting that tournament.
That now he's just going to win. You're not going to bet him.
I'm happy anyone who chooses to go there.
So for me, so far this year, I have used Spieth and I have used Zach Johnson. And you have used
Cam Smith and shitty Siwoo Kim.
Cam Smith and Siwoo Kim. And for people who know, Jason Duffner is Tim's one and done pick this week, so he's Anderson. So don't worry about him. Where are you going? Actually, it's my pick because I
go
won.
first.
I will take Snedeker, Spawn, Chapel. I feel like if I take Chez Reavie, that's just setting up for a T13.
But isn't that good?
No, it's not good. I want to win.
See, that should be good,
No,
but in
it's
the
not,
premise
no.
of so many people in this thing,
Listen,
then it's bad.
I'll take 5 missed cuts in a row and take a win rather than get a whole bunch of T13s.
You're right.
Herman is very much... Phil, I think, is in play here.
Oh, I don't even think
If you want to burn
but
Phil.
He is 100% in play.
You like Hadley.
And I actually think Phil could win this week if someone likes betting Phil. But I don't. I was thought Tim might have used them. But Tim's saving him for the big U.S. Open, probably.
Well, wait till we get to the Masters, and he can't lose the Masters. So you got to use them. No, Tim is definitely taking Fred Couples as
Do
one
you
and done at
think
the
if you
Masters.
gave Tim, like, if someone's like, Tim, I'll let you bet Jordan Spieth 40-1 to win the Masters, based on his, if you didn't watch our offseason
The reason
show.
the main reason that I've been betting Spieth so much is that Tim declared it impossible for Jordan Spieth to win the Masters.
But like, if Tim's like, okay, I'll give you 35-1, like he would still say no because he can't win. Period.
Yes.
Right? Love that guy. So he took Duffner. I'm gonna. Have you picked? You didn't.
No,
pick?
I didn't make a pick yet. I'm going to take Kevin Chappell.
Oh, I was thinking about that. Okay, that's good. I can still use him in the big guy.
And I think that in the big one and done, I don't think you're going to see a lot of Kevin Chappell usage, to be perfectly honest with you.
I think to me his skill set might be the second best player in the field.
I think Snedeker is the second best skill set. I just don't know where he's at right now.
I'm factoring in everything. So I like.
And I don't want to pretend like Chappell played well at Tournament of Champions. He did not.
No, but peak Chappell to me is the second best player. Well, no, that's peak. Oh,
He's a top 5 player in this field.
thank you.
Put it that
I just
way.
had to roll it back.
Peak Bubba is probably the second best player in this
Oh
field.
my God, we didn't even mention him. But
No,
his number's not.
We're
high
not
enough.
mentioning him.
His number's not high enough. And if you put it this way, every guy I bet has a skill set that he doesn't have. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm betting that even if I'm wrong on who wins, it's still going to be someone with that skill set. I just didn't pick him.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm a loser. Chesson Hadley.
I might have to bet Chesson Hadley.
I'm such a loser. No. Don't. Well, you can, but again,
Maybe
when
I'll play
Brent
him
Snedeker wins and Chesson Hadley is 48th at the exact same betting number, I'll be looking for the rope.
I'll lend you some money after I win my Snedeker monies. Hey, that'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Career Builder Challenge. We're getting into the good tournaments here. Do you have any thoughts on Abu Dhabi this week?
Oh, he's 5-1. How does Dustin not win? When Dustin rolls, he wins. The field is exquisite. No thoughts. How about Europe rolling the table on Sunday in singles? Like, no one should have been surprised. But Sunday, you could have bet the -188 before the singles matches.
Oh, really? How much did they win by in the singles? Did they sweep the singles matches?
They won the entire event 14-10. They were down 6.5, 5.5 on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Or going into singles. So they
Just
sea of blue on the singles board.
Well, not shocking.
And-
When you went over and they had CHP Truers.
No, that's one I knew. That's actually one of the names I knew because we won big money on him thanks to Wiley last year.
Yeah.
That might have no, that was the India event.
The Indian Hero Open.
No, you know what? Team Asia, they played their ass off. Their best players let them down. Like Barnrat didn't get a point. Like stuff like that, you know? So, and the guy, Arjun Atwal was their coach. His Sunday strategy was an abomination. Like he sent out his worst players first.
Oh, no, you want to do it the other way.
Yeah, like they have to maintain the momentum. Like by the time I looked at the leaderboard, the first match out was Noren versus Nicholas Fung. And Noren was
I
up
want
like
Nicholas Fung to be so good. I can't wait to win some Fung bucks.
Noren was up like 4 out of the gate. And then mentally it's like, okay, the event's tied and now they got to just take the better of the next 11.
Abu Dhabi odds for this week. DJ's 5-1. Rory's back for the first time, 7-1.
Mike Miller. No, this is important though.
Okay.
Mike Miller made out a great point. I think because football season's over, I noticed he followed me again. Because he doesn't want any part of me during football season. I don't blame him. I don't blame a lot of people. Roy's never won in his return from injury.
Yeah, I'm not betting Rory at 7-1 here. I just want to see him play well.
Want to see him play fantastic.
I just want to see him be healthy.
But here's the key.
Be healthy, Rory.
This is the week where maybe I got to parlay Rory with the Minnesota Vikings to win the big tournaments, because when he plays well this week, numbers drop. Or no one forgets Rory ever, probably.
No,
right?
Rory's numbers factored in.
Yeah.
Like even the 11-1 I got at the U.S. Open, like, that's not going to, unless he wins like 5 times, the worst he's going to go to is 7.
Silly me. You're right.
And it's not like DJ's pulling back anytime soon.
DJ's just in form. And DJ in form won't lose.
DJ's 5-1. Rory's 7-1. Rose is playing. He's 8-1. Stenson's 14. Casey's 18. Grace is 22, coming off another miss with Brendan Grace.
Lost to, I make fun of Phil in the travel bag. He lost to a dude with a travel bag with his wife on the bag.
Patrick Reed used to play a lot better when his wife was on the bag.
Fine. You're right. Anyways, Grace should have outdueled that guy.
So Fleetwood 22, Hatton 22, Kuchar and Keimer are 30-1. I don't know what Kuchar's doing over
Fleetwood won last year, right?
He did, yeah. I don't know what Kuchar's doing over in Abu Dhabi, but there he is. Rafa 35, Fitzpatrick 35, Thomas Pieters 40-1.
What a field.
Wiesberger, Fisher. This is a good. The crappy thing is like, and I
this entire Eurasia Cup Euro team is playing.
Yeah, DeChambeau's over there for some reason. Paul Den. Chris Wood. Remember when
Surprised like Fowler's not there.
I feel like Fowler always plays the next one, Qatar.
The one that's the Super Bowl?
Yeah, he plays Qatar and then he plays Dubai. This is Abu Dhabi. Right. There's Dubai and Qatar coming up. And he plays in one of those ones. Because he doesn't play the one opposite the Super Bowl, because he always plays in
Phoenix. Didn't really stare down the field. I just was curious what Dustin's odds were, and I didn't really look past that numbers. I saw just great names.
I know a lot of people are complaining this week that the DraftKings Euro contests aren't as big, but I feel like that's such an insular argument to have. Like
because there's a good field, like they should be aware when the fields are super strong with a lot of like...
No, I'm not saying... I mean, that would be nice if they are, but I just don't think that the casual person even knows this tournament exists. So that's why you can't have giant prize pools for it. Like, yes, everyone on golf Twitter understands what's going on, but outside of that, no one does.
But...
Does that make sense to you?
Yes, but if DraftKings, like... I guess there's no way to let... I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
It's still a Euro Tour event in people's minds. And they're like, oh, screw that. I don't want to play Euro golf.
But if you could find a way to have them open up the event and see the names...
Yeah, how are you going to do that?
The second best name in this one here, we just spent an hour talking about, is Brian Harman. The
Sure.
second best name there is Rory McIlroy.
I'm not going to argue the other way with that. Just it's the sight of seeing, hey, I play PGA. Lean back! Every single week. Why am I playing Euro now if I've never played Euro? Like, I don't know who 98% of the people in this field are if I don't open it up and see what the names are.
You're right. I never open them up. Because I don't play Euro DFS.
And I think that is the sentiment that most people have.
Yeah, but some people, you're right. They just play PGA Tour. They're not setting their lineup for midnight Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah, and a lot of people who are finishing off football season right now that are getting into golf and maybe trying out golf for the first time, I have a feeling that they're going to be more willing to try out PGA over Euro.
So even with your point being is if they made the bigger contest, they would just...
I don't know if they would fill or not.
Yeah, I probably tend to agree with that.
Now, that being said, I hope there's 8 millionaire makers next week for Tiger.
Are they doing $1 million?
They're not. I think
that's not big enough.
I think they're bringing back the big $4. I don't know.
Tiger's going to move that needle hard.
We'll see. I mean, he will for TV ratings. I'm curious to see if that actually translates into DraftKings dollars and like betting odds and all that stuff.
My boy Rash at ESPN sent out a tweet last week, like because next it's that week without NFL.
Tiger Week.
Yeah, but there is like the NBA All-Star. He's like, which event would you want to go to? The NBA All-Star game,
Come on.
It's the NHL, the Pro Bowl, and the Royal Rumble. And I'm like, on that poll, it's 100% the Royal Rumble. But the big event that weekend is Tiger Sunday, Torrey Pines.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay,
Tiger Thursday will be fun.
Fine,
let's start there.
Is he making the cut? What's his odds to make the cut?
I don't know. We don't have the odds on the Farmers.
I just mean, like, in your opinion, is he making the cut?
Yeah, I would think he is. If he plays as well as he did in the Hero, then yeah, why not? I mean, he's going to be competing against Nick Watney.
The rough is, I agree with you, but the rough is thick.
Well, as if he needs to keep himself out of it so he doesn't wrench his back hitting it out of the rough. Because that would be devastating. That is the one thing that I don't want to happen this year. I will be fine with Tiger being like a mediocre golfer who misses a bunch of cuts. I just don't want to see him wincing on the course. I just don't want to see it. I've seen it enough, and it makes me sad every single time.
Nothing worse than when he grabs the back or when you just see can't even like barely pick the ball out of the hole on the bogey.
And then I have to get like 89 texts from Cuss being like, he's faking it. Phil would never do this.
You know what? Cuss is wrong.
Shocker.
Because Phil would. Phil's been surprisingly healthy.
Phil has his arthritis that he has to deal with. He's in all those commercials.
He's going to play really well this week.
Hope so.
Phil, that is.
Oh, Phil.
Yeah.
Hope not. Hope not. Anyway, that'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience Career Builder Challenge. A bit of Abu Dhabi, some Euro-Asia Cup recap. Geoff Fienberg, you can follow him on Twitter at GFienberg17. You can follow me at the PME on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, where my betting cheat sheet will be. You can subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio version on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Podomatic, Audio, Boom, Google Play, anywhere where you can download podcasts. Please subscribe and rate the Pat Mayo Experience video version up on the DraftKings YouTube page. I'm Pat Mayo. You can check out my column on DK Playbook along with my DraftKings picks cheat sheet and the DraftKings show with Jeff Bergerson coming on Tuesday. I'm Pat Mayo. Good luck at the Career Builder Challenge. I'll see you next time.